I really like to talk about bargain guns. You know, I'll admit I'm a little bit of a cheap guy myself, and I just love a great bargain. So I'm going to go over some that I'm very familiar with, some I've done some serious homework on. My first one is going to be a little 22. This is the Phoenix Arms 22. This little guy can be purchased for $150. You go around to most of the gun shows, you'll see some of these. This one, by the way, has the longer barrel. They sort of call it a target barrel. Believe it or not, at 10 yards, I can put about an inch and a half grouping with this little pistol. Astonishingly reliable. This gun actually has about 5,000 rounds through it, and I'll tell you, I've had very few misfeeds with it. You know, with small 22 automatics, they're usually a little quirky. You'll get an occasional failure to feed, you know, a stovepipe, something like this. Extremely rare, even with kind of the junkier ammo with this gun. 5,000 rounds, and she still functions well. All for only $150. Their support is excellent. The little guy holds well. I know people who love these guns so much, that's pretty much the only one they have. I'm not saying it's a defense weapon, but it's a great bargain. My next bargain gun is a Ruger. I'll tell you the truth, I almost said any Ruger. Ruger is an amazing company. They build astonishingly reliable pistols for an astoundingly low price. I don't know how they do it. It's an American-made product. Those guys, I guess they just know how to engineer it. This is the Ruger Mark III. This is the one I'm going to call one of the good bargains. I've seen these sell recently at gun shows for well under $300, some in the price range of about $250. This is for a 22 pistol that, in essence, it really is a target pistol. This thing will compete with highly expensive target pistols. Astonishingly reliable, amazingly accurate. It fits in the hand extremely well. Of course, it's a single stack. And with those of us who have the smaller hands, the feel of that single stack is just phenomenal. Trigger is smooth. Obviously, you could smooth it out a little more with a trigger job. But for reliability and price, it's just an astonishingly good pistol. Again, this is more of a target gun. It's I wouldn't call it a plinker, but some people would use it for a plinker. But the price is just astonishing. Great little gun. Rugers as a group generally are. Okay, for my third gun that I consider a bargain pistol, bargain handgun, the Makarov. The prices are creeping up a little bit, but you can still find Makarovs at under $300 from a seller, and if you're looking at forums, you're looking used prices, you can get them even less than that. This is the Bulgarian version. I've also had the Russian version. These things are astounding and reliable. I've probably got maybe 2,000 to 2,500 rounds through this. I've never had a failure of any kind. I shoot the old surplus ammo, the cheap ammo, any junk, it'll eat it all. No failures to feed, no failures to eject, always locks back. And the other thing that's amazing with these little guns is, even though they have those utilitarian sights, they just seem to shoot extremely well. I find this gun to be incredibly accurate for me. And by the way, when people say accurate, they're really talking about how well it shoots for them. It's the fit of the hand, I think. That single stack feels great in your hand. The single action trigger is a great trigger. Double action is a little stiff, and she's got a little crack to her, but she's got a nice weight. A lot of people consider this one of the best concealed carry guns around. But again, this is a great pistol that you can get for less than $300. Granted, we're talking used in this case. But for pistol bargains, this little guy is right up there on the list.
Now let's talk about the CZ82. This is a great little gun and can be had for around $200, in some cases less. This is a CNR, so you can actually order if you have a CNR license from a lot of suppliers out there. This CZ82 uses the same round as the Makarov, the 9x18, so it's got enough punch. A lot of people like it as a concealed carry. It does have a double stack magazine, so it's a little wider than the old Makarov, but not so much so that you can't reasonably carry it as a concealed carry. The one thing I will say about it, this is one of the smoothest triggers out there. This thing is, to use the old expression, like butter. That's true even in the double action. Sweet gun, great price. Finally, last but not least, I'm going to include the Smith & Wesson Sigma. I know there were some problems with these early on. There were some reliability issues. But from everything I've read and the few times that I've shot a Sigma, I've shot a 40 cal, those problems have been resolved. The 40 cal that I've shot, although I'm not a big fan of the 40 cal, it just kind of bangs around on me. Personally, I prefer the 9mm. But the one I shot fit my hand extremely well. It was very accurate and it was highly reliable. I didn't have any of the reliability issues that a lot of people talked about. Now, the phenomenal thing about a Sigma is that if you look around, you can find retailers who are selling these for $300. That's the 9mm or the 40 cal. Hard to beat that for a price. I mean, that really is a substantial bargain.